Oh, the music stops as I keep going. No, the music cannot play at the same time, so it's not as chill. Just listen to some techno. By Yo Una. She sounds like somebody that I saw at Burning Man. But I swear to God, I got kicked out of a dance party or something. You're being too good at dancing, which is the most likely assumption. So, I was pretty pissed about the faggots and their observations. They're building a pyre for Jesus, apparently, and I just have to sit and watch them burn themselves. But then we got the church over here. We got lots of churches. And you imagine that the surveillance state, I was like, I want to be Donald Trump. I want to be Elon Musk. I want to sit in the TV room and just fuck with people in surveillance. Just be like, hey, let me see what I can make this person do. Let me see what my money and authority can quantumly transfer in the threat of oppression or domination to another individual. So I honestly don't know how the surveillance state has made it this long without more criticism. It's embarrassing. Who the fuck works for the surveillance state? Obviously, our president should have some knowledge over the matter. If he tried to say it was classified or whatnot, I don't know. He's not very good at whistleblowing, is all I know. He could have uploaded all the boxes, documents that he stashed at Mar-a-Lago or whatever he calls that place. Mario Lagoon, like go-kart. The point is, that would be a stupid ass job to just watch people in a TV room, especially if you're just a jackhandle. But I just wanted to record some of that for the jackasses that are around. I try to talk to them, they don't listen as good. They don't listen regardless. They're in a psycho-spiritual retardation. And they just want to say it's all their citizens and stuff being collected. So the surveillance state just watches people, makes fun of them. Since 9/11. And then you wonder, how do you get that job of a surveillance state professional? What are the requirements? Are you a decent individual? Is it just family? Is it just money? How good are the intentions, morality of these people in surveillance? And it's probably not that decent if they haven't created like a media platform. Like, why does the Central Intelligence Agency not have a media platform? Are they not supposed to be the center of intelligence? They're the center of private intelligence, not the center of public intelligence. That's what it seems. They make it too difficult and lengthy for an individual to get the full records of themselves. Just a standard bureaucratic alien procedure, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where he has to see all those nasty little lumpkins stand in front of all of them. Mumpkins, I call them that because they're kind of like deformed pumpkins. You ever seen a deformed pumpkin? There's quite a few. They don't all grow spherical. Or like, it's not spherical, it's the, man, see, I don't even got a good enough dictionary of geometry. It's got little tubular lines that connect it in a semi-donut shape that's connected at so it's not actually a donut. The hole doesn't exist in the center. Clenched fists is a sign of heart stress, but it's also a sign of resistance. But the two, are we resisting against our own hearts, or are we trying to resist against someone claiming our hearts? Anyways, clenched fists are not healthy for conversational dialectic, allegedly by some confirmational biased individual. But excuse me, just trying to do my best to stay undercover. I know, nobody cares. We're in globalist society of 2025, where generally you might accidentally feel like you need to explain yourself to another and realize they don't care enough. It's because there's too many variables in the environment. If you got a task you need to do, you can't generally veer off task too much. Now, who's stopping us from veering off task? I don't know. I don't think a lot of people are. We would hope, but I think the United States just does sleeper agent programs with their drug industry. Big pharma is fucking. Oh my fuck! That's a lot of tobacco still in there. No need to get personally offended. I didn't actually approach the first person who walked by, so the surveillance community could have said, "Don't worry, he won't. He won't approach you." So I'm just trying to like perceive this other entity that's working behind the scenes unconsensually. That's the definition of the deep state, just so you guys know. But the like hate speech terminology isn't terribly important in person to person setting, like physical, verbal, because of the. I'll just call it monkey nature. I don't think monkeys are inherently violent. I think they're conditions and resources always. But obviously, I think we don't have a tail. We're not as chill as monkeys to begin with. So, like, in what circumstances are we not as chill as monkeys? Well, they can climb a fucking big ass tree. What can you guys do? You guys can talk. You guys can make money out of nothing. A monkey can swing tree to tree. A monkey can do a lot of things with its tail, mostly, I believe. And it's like, now, the treatment of pets in general is always a strange thing for the Homo sapien race. I think there's people with pet monkeys, definitely people with pet dogs all over the United States and other things. Do we really care about the pet's treatment? Only if we're empathetic and we're stuck in that realm. So we had to watch Twitlandia. We didn't have to. It was actually quite enjoyable in my opinion. Fuck. Some of this? No. Here's some of the movies. No shit. Got rained on a little bit today. It's quite horrible for the papers. Well, the thing was to be extra conscious of the rain. It's a lot of fucking cognitive. So it'll like actually annoy people because they have to be so aware. To be so aware actually annoys people. It's not comfortable to have to be constantly on the watch. That's why we are blind to betrayal as a species. Because it's not only not comfortable, it's not efficient. Tribe mindsets are evolutionarily so desirable and are constantly linked to tribe mindsets. Um, Now, what does that mean? It means at some level we're communicating with people beyond our conscious intention. What is conscious intention? We're very limited to the things that we think people are doing to us or saying. We don't fully we'll have a conscious intention to do something. Now, what's the full reaction of it going to be? Might not be what we intended, you know. Obviously, that's just a general fucking thing, but point is, defining consciousness is important. It's important to live up to standards, health, collective agreements, standards, protection of property, liberty, life. I need to create. I want you to help me manifest this. A decent poster. It's not going to be waterproof though, so. We were sitting in front of the art center and the fucking another Christian monument, multiple Christian monuments. I say monuments because they're large, column, sort of romantic buildings. I don't know, maybe the Greeks had columns too. But, overly ornate. I think they're probably accomplishing something decent. I don't have too negative them. Obviously, the sharing of resources or the distribution has always been an issue for mankind because of the kingship and the rulership, which can act without transparency. Now, it really actually shouldn't be very hard for humanity to share resources. There actually should not be greed or competitive individualistic notions of survival. If it's naturally built off of familial upbringing, that's one thing, but to promote survivalism, because that is upbringing too, so competitiveness. But I just perceive that most of the general public is decent with the upbringing of competitiveness, or not that. It doesn't really matter. I don't have anybody with faithful understanding on my listening perception list. Or, but that's just how it goes. If you're not interacting with the group, the thing is, most groups, I think, are afraid of me for one, because I try to promote accountability and records. But then I think the really corrupt group just watches me, threatens me with their subconscious overt force or amount of resources, and I just have to play their victim, clown, rodeo clown. That's unfortunate too, because we're really seeing what does America prioritize in terms of public interest and human potential, and we're seeing it's disorganized. It's not for the public good right now. It's getting closer and closer all the time. But a lot of people's jobs don't understand their conscientious objector portrayal of the current economy. We're too globalist, not localized, and just fucking up our general relations with anybody. Um, Because you can just pay a global actor to go in there. And that's pretty much what everybody in the city with a globalist job, you know. You look at the supply chain of your job and you realize what I'm saying about the globalist impact. Even jobs that aren't like food or materials, there's like a large supply chain. Because, I mean, your job had to have a building, just to have a manager, a middleman that's like maintaining the authoritarian control of planet resources or property against the public well-being. That's what we're trying to be positive for, is the public well-being. If people can continuously try to think about that, but then also humane treatment of general things, you know, of humans, other animals. Smoking too much weed for these people. It's not actually that fun to smoke weed in a society of warfare, general ignorance. It has its like positive, but the thing is, people can maintain a sense of power off of clenching and remembering of trauma, which is happens inherently subconsciously, you know, unconsciously. But then some people are consciously just continuously trying to maintain their sense of pain. It's like an old writing from Sedona, from Honey. She's like, is a sense of pain, power, and to a degree it happens. But I mean, when you're on the higher path of sociological and not psychopathic relations, you know. But most people don't understand that, and the trust issues are relevant because until we have a communication system that can build the trust, may as well uphold your pains because you don't want someone else with another communication system to take advantage of your Homo sapien limits abilities or cognitive limits or general just trust issues. Not issues, but programming. It's a benefit, it's a positive, you know. The curse of being blind to betrayal is the blessing of collective um, entwinement. Uh, to encourage that is obviously a priority for the human race. So I think they already have been. I hope, you know, I'm hoping to do some good. Whether or not I'd agree with their methods, too much pharmacology or unconsensual. But, you know, it's always been, the game's always been to justify the ends by the means. And I'm just saying right now, all non-transparent means are not going to be justified. So we should just try to be transparent about the means. It's just not justified at this day and age. When someone makes the claim, and multiple have already, in different ways, open source everything, or you know, communication system that's legitimate, or just humane treatment of our fellow citizens, human rights. You know, it was great that we made that achievement in the 40s, but apparently we have to make it again because the cynical, vengeful nature has taken over. Earlier segment this end, smoke the money. Oi! Anyways, conversation's over. Thank you for your listening if you made it this far. Good job, Central Intelligence Agency and National Security Administration. I'm just kidding, you guys are actually sucking the big of shells. And not in a good way of environment. That's the difference.